Alright, in today's video we're going to be talking about my top 4 apps that I use as a photographer. Alright, so number 1 is Adobe Lightroom. Everyone uses it. It's by far, in my opinion, replaced Photoshop. I don't feel like Photoshop is as relevant as it used to be. I love Lightroom. I've been editing my photos on it for over 2 years now. I will say the one thing I don't love about it is pretty expensive, but it's a great app. It has a lot of powerful tools and it's very easy to understand. It also has a great mobile version, which is very helpful for me because I often take shots on my iPhone and want to edit it right then to put on my story or anything like that. It gives me that opportunity. It is also the main way I add borders to photos. Overall, 10 out of 10 would highly recommend it. I honestly have no complaints. One of the most cool tools in my opinion is that it has, as the trend has been, integrating AI more and more into software, but they have an AI removal tool. So I don't love using tons of AI in my photos. I think it cheapens it. I don't want things to be fake. And so I will only use it every once in a while, especially if I were to shoot some sort of wedding or something like that to remove extra people in the background. So for instance, I saw some homecoming photos recently and there's tons of people because we're shooting in a very popular spot in Utah for fall pictures, and so there's lots of people in the background, and just having the AI capabilities to quickly remove people in the background is a huge help. Alright, let's go to the next one. Alright, so my number 2 app, this is in a similar vein of photo editing, and it's called Scroll, SCRL. This is the main app I use for when I want to do collages with multiple photos on one spread, and also to post landscape photos on Instagram. As we all know, and I've talked about this before on the channel, you cannot put landscape photos on Instagram. They crop it every single time. I think it's a sad thing, but I also, for coming from short form content for Instagram, I also understand it. So this allows you to, one, place multiple ones on it, but also just, post landscape photos on Instagram. I think it's the best app that I've come across, especially for a free app that allows you to do so and also fits inside Instagram pretty nicely. Most of the time I have found that there are some issues when you come to putting multiple photos on the same page and posting those on Instagram. It can sometimes get cropped out, but overall, if you're just posting one landscape photo per page, or two, it does really well and is a great app. It's very intuitive. You've got multiple textures and gradients you can do as the background. You can adjust thickness, really easy to use. The only downside I would say is that it's only a mobile app, so if you're like I do oftentimes, especially for a paid project, editing on my laptop, and then I go to put it on Scroll, I have to download it to my phone and then do that and then put it back. It just is more of a pain than perhaps it could be. But in some ways it's not a big deal because if I'm posting on Instagram, that's probably what I'm using it for, and that's on my phone anyway. So there is a little bit of negatives to that, but overall it's really good. So the third app I use is called Suntracker AR. They've got 2 levels to this app, so I use the free version because I'm cheap, but the free version allows you to have real-time updates to what is the current golden hour. So I always thought it was irritating to be looking up, what's golden hour? And if you notice, at least that I've found, that on the weather apps, even if they show golden hour, or on your smartwatch, even if they show golden hour, they're often not photographers' golden hours, so to speak. I feel like more it's sunset, and that's not where the light is best. So Suntracker tells you when blue hour is, tells you when sunrise golden hour is. It gives you all the times all throughout the day, syncs automatically to wherever you are, and so you always know when the best light is going to be, obviously barring unforeseen conditions like clouds. Behind a paywall, there's a more complex version of it. I've never used it, but I have heard good things about it, and The paywall, essentially, as the name would suggest, it's augmented reality, and so it'll put maps of how the sun will be throughout the day over satellite imagery, 3D satellite imagery of wherever you put the location on the map. So that's pretty cool. It would allow you to, for instance, if you were shooting in a city or in a deep valley, it could allow you to calculate where the sun will actually be. Because as we all know, sometimes you get into those spots, there's just not as much light as you would expect, since the cities or whatever it is blocking the light coming down. So it's a really cool tool. The free version is great. It's the best that I've found. I've now tried 2 or 3 of these apps, as well as just, you know, my smartwatch or apps or anything, or excuse me, weather apps, anything like that, and I just have found this to be the most useful. Alright, so my fourth and final app, and this one I would hope is pretty obvious, but Google Earth can be a huge help for photographers, especially if you're forced to shoot in a location you're not familiar with. That is a little tip. As much as possible, try and shoot in areas that you are really, really familiar with, if it's going to be something that matters. If you're just going out to shoot for fun, then shoot wherever you want. If the photos are crap or they're just not as good as they could be, because you can always adjust a little bit to conditions, then not a big deal. But if you want to shoot for a project, it's always helpful to shoot, if possible, in an area you really know, because you're going to know at what times of the day the light is best, how it filters down, what the best angles are. Or of course you can always scout it out ahead of time, which is hugely recommended. But sometimes that's not possible. And so that's when Google Earth comes in. Google Earth, as we all know, is a collection of 3D satellite images. And especially if you're shooting something bigger, you can use it to take street view and really figure out what the area looks like. For instance, if you were shooting a wedding venue and they're doing it in a big field, whatever that could be, and then you could get in there with Google imagery, with the street view, or just the satellite aerial images, and really look close at what you're doing before you're actually there, and help guide your images before you've started shooting. So I highly recommend it, and yeah. Alright, well that's all I got for you guys today. Thanks for watching. As always, hit the subscribe button and let me know down in the comments what you learned.